Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the BOAT. And guys, we're getting ready to do this thing as we always do. Want to thank all of the listeners out there that's tuning in with me. Hey guys, I want to thank all the subscribers on the YouTube channel. 400K, man, 400K. We're on our way to 1 million, just a couple of days from 1 million. And I want to thank each and every one of you guys for making it happen. The YouTube channel is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And we got some new content coming for you guys, something that I think you're going to like. You know what? I don't even want to spoil it. I don't want to give any spoilers away or anything like that. Bradley, how you doing, Doug?
I'm doing good, and I just want to give the exact number. We crossed it today, 400,526. For those of you who've been along for the journey with us, we were at, I don't know, 2 years ago, 13,000?
Something like that.
15,000, and now here we are, over 400,000 and counting. We want to get to, when do we want to get to 1 million? We should set the goal now. By this time next year?
By the end, let's just give ourselves a cushion. We don't want to, push it too hard or anything like that. But if we can get to 1 million within the next, 13, 14 months, that would be so awesome. And the reason why I say that is because this thing is independently owned. It's been grinded by a bunch of young guys as far as making everything happen. And for us, as a, like Nino Brown said, we're a self-contained unit. You feel me? And we have made it this far with the people being a part of this thing, man. The Road Nation, it has been strong and it's getting bigger and bigger. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate everybody with us right now in the chat. Make sure you shout out what city, town, fellowship, Commonwealth, country, county. Shout out where you are right now so we can highlight it here on the screen. We want to see where everyone's listening from around the world, Booker. We have a worldwide audience. I don't know if you're aware.
No,
we're worldwide.
Yeah, I appreciate all of them. Hopefully, they'll let us Americans, come out of the country here sometime soon. It's a damn thing that we're on the blacklist, man. We can't go nowhere. We can't leave America. But hopefully I can cheer to see you guys, man. I can't wait to get back to England. I can't wait to get back to a lot of those places, man, where, I just had so many fun times and so many memories over the years, and here in the States too, as well, man. See Chicago, San Antonio, Cincinnati, Ohio, Georgia. Everybody's, getting a piece of the action. Champagne wishes, caviar dreams, man. We coming off of a huge weekend, man. And it was all sponsored by ESPN, man. I'm so glad I work for ESPN. But we had boxing on Top Rank, boxing, Terence Crawford went out there and did his business with Kell Brook. We had JDS versus Paul Felder. Paul Felder coming in of a 5-day notice to step in and do work. We got UFC talk as far as, Daniel Cormier is talking about, should we even consider or not John Jones as being the GOAT? We got to talk about that. But let's talk about the there again, what went down on Top Rank this weekend, man, because Terence Crawford, pound for pound, number one in the world as far as I'm concerned. The brother went out there against Kell Brook, a guy who, we was talking about Kell Brook, and I hadn't been keeping up with Kell Brook, but Kell Brook, they say he fought 11 months ago, of course, against not against top quality talent or anything like that. The last time I really had notice as far as Kell Brook goes was when he fought Errol Spence, and Errol Spence busted that boy up so bad, took the title from him actually. And now when I say busted him up, he broke his orbital bone to the point to where we never thought we would see Kell Brook inside the square circle again. But he was coming in against Terence Crawford off of a 3-fight win streak, and then I must say, Kell Brook, the Brit, he looked great for 3 rounds. He really did. I thought, we was actually seeing something that, different as far as Terence Crawford fights go. You know what I mean? Of course, Terence Crawford last fight, he had a little bit of trouble getting knocked down. You can call it knocked down. You can call it slip, whatever, getting up and putting that boy away. But this fight right here, Kell Brook, I must say, you know what? Let me reiterate. First 2 1/4 round, he looked good. And then Terence Crawford switched stance, started turning around a little bit. Jab started coming into place. Kell Brook couldn't get anything off. Seemed like from that point on, he just put his hands in his pockets and said, man, I'm going to just ride this bus till my stop come, and I'm gonna get up on the chain and get off. But Terence Crawford, 4th round, came out and delivered a bomb of I don't even know what you call it, jab, hook, whatever it was effective to the point to where Kell Brook was on Dream Street from that point on.
Yeah, out on his feet. And I think flurry, just an offensive flurry. He came with all these shots, and the referee gave him a second. Kell Brook came back and got the job done. Him and Terence Crawford. But you and I, when we were talking before, the fight actually went off. We were at the reality wrestling show, the drive-in show, which, by the way, was another massive success. Thank you to everybody out there. But I think that you said inside 5 rounds was your prediction.
I said 4 rounds.
You said inside 4 rounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I said 3 rounds.
3 rounds.
I said it'll go 3 rounds. That's exactly what I said. I don't want to, try to put a star on myself. And I said 3 rounds. It was going to go, and it went 3.5. Not even 3.5. 3 1/4. And it was over with. So my thing is, man, I was close. I was close there again. And the thing is, Kell Brook, there again, the guy's a good fighter. Fighting opponents and beating guys less than someone like Terence Crawford. You're not going to find anyone like that you could spar with or anything like that. And there again, as you get older, your skills deteriorate. And Kell Brook is another story, in the books as far as fighters go, guys that finally get to that point and they can't get over, that hump. But I must say, Kell Brook showed a great account of himself. But Terence Crawford is definitely a mean young man. And the question bears, man, what would it look like, with the Errol Spence fight against Terence Crawford? Of course, we're going to get a chance to see Errol Spence on the 5th of next month, taking on Danny Garcia, Arlington, Texas, baby, AT&T Stadium. We're on our way. I'm going to be there. Bradley's going to be there. Will you be there? It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. And somebody will get knocked out. Of course, we're going to be wondering what is left of Errol Spence after that horrific car accident he had after, the biggest win of his career, becoming unified champion. Is he going to still have the juice? Is he going to still be able to float like he floated before? Is he going to still be able to deliver that big punch? My thing is, and I say that because I was in a wreck with my sister. She was driving back in the day, and we was in one of those little Volkswagens. And she hit something, a parked car, I think. And I went flying and, ended up in the front seat from the back seat. And I didn't feel that bad. I didn't get no broken bones or anything like that. But I didn't feel that bad until I woke up the following day. And I felt like, man, I got run over by a train. And I felt like that for days after. Now, Errol Spence got his whole grill knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he was, he had nothing, and I'm sure if you saw the photo, his face was just, oh man, it was brutal. The photo was scary. And they showed that photo this many months after, just because I don't think they want to scare anybody as far as, how bad this guy really is. But I'm sure, I look at Errol Spence now and, I don't know. It seems like he may be a tad slower just watching him in interviews. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm glad that he recovered, and his health is definitely important. It is always a question. I think after you sustain any injury, but let alone you go through something as traumatic as that, will you be the same when you come in there? Will you be guarding something and protecting a part that you weren't worried about or concerned about before? That could give somebody like a Danny Garcia that opening that he would need. I think Errol Spence still, I don't think that he would come back if he didn't feel like he was 100% ready. And he's also ready to make some money, I'm sure. So I think that he's going to be fine in that regard. We'll see. A Terence Crawford, Errol Spence matchup would be awesome. Also, Terence Crawford's been calling out Manny Pacquiao, saying Manny Pacquiao's never run away from a fight ever. That's a fight that he wants. There's a lot of good matches that can be made after this weekend of action.
I don't know, man. Like I say, you know what? I'm gonna be definitely looking forward to seeing exactly what's gonna happen on the 5th. I cannot wait. It's gonna be at home, man. It's gonna be on like a steam. Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Hey, we doing it, man.
Oh, we weren't gonna get it. We weren't gonna get it.
Shoop, we back. We back by now. My phone had just rang, man. It threw me off a little bit. Yeah, man. There again, went down this weekend. Huge action. JDS trying to reinvent himself, making a comeback inside the octagon. And that game right there is so hard as far as, you know, being away from it, you know, trying to, you know, motivate yourself to get back in it, you know, wondering, man, you know, how long can I do this? It's got to be a question on the mind. It's definitely got to be a question on the mind as far as, you know, what's next for me, you know, and JDS definitely, Javier Dos Anjos put himself back in position to get back in the, you know, the mix, taking on Paul Felder, taking the fight on a 5-day notice, getting up from behind the desk to go inside the octagon. He said he was training for a marathon or something like that. And so he was in great shape. So my thing is this, man, you know, what did JDS show us, you know, on Saturday night? Because, you know, it was a 5-round grind. It was nothing spectacular. And the thing is, you got to remember, Javier Dos Anjos, when he started making his rise, you know, he was just knocking off guys, you know, left and right. You know, Anthony Pettis was on the hit list. You know, Cowboy Cerrone, you know, he was on the hit list.
Nate Diaz.
Exactly. It was a lot of guys on that list, man, that he went through that we thought were really tough guys. And then to come back to have a performance like this against Paul Felder, who didn't look great, you know, what's there left? What lies, you know, in the wake, you know, for JDS.
RDA, by the way, not JDS, RDA. I know, I get them mixed up. Get them mixed up all the time too. Yeah, I mean, Javier Dos Anjos, first of all, this was his return to the lightweight division, 155. He'd been fighting at 170 for a long time. This was him back in his slim trim 155. The thing that I've seen out there, and I know this is going to get you riled up, but what people are saying is that potentially this puts him in line to get the winner of the fight that we're going to see hopefully in January between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. You know, Conor McGregor and RDA were doing that dance for a while. They had 2 fights scheduled. Both of them were canceled. I think one of them was the Nate Diaz fight, the first Nate Diaz fight with him and Conor, where Rafael Dos Anjos injured his foot, right? It was
yeah.
That was the first one that we were supposed to see. There was another going to be a reschedule. It didn't happen. Would you like that for JDA? For now I'm messing his name up.
RDA.
RDA. You see what you're doing to me? Shut. We'll start over again. No, but would you like that for RDA?
Let's just go Rafael.
Let's call him Rafael.
Call him Rafael.
Yeah.
Him and Conor.
Yeah.
You know what, man? You know, I would love that would be a fight that I wouldn't mind seeing, because, you know, I always say, you know, I'm not about, you know, the top guy taking on the number one guy. I'm not about that. I'm about seeing guys go out there and mix it up and, you know, see exactly, you know, what plays out. And let's, on the other end, you know, keep it moving. Let's keep making some money. The best guy is going to win in a fight like that, as well as you give a guy like Rafael a chance more than anything to get a win over a top name guy. Everybody's going to be picking Conor in that fight, of course, you know, but, you know, if Rafael can actually go out there and get a win over someone like Conor McGregor, man, it does a whole lot for him. For Conor McGregor, what it does is, you know, he wasn't in there with the most dangerous guy in the division. It is a fight that he should win. If he don't, that's on him. It's one of those type of things. That's the type of promoter that I would be. So me personally, I would love to see that fight and the better man win. And Conor McGregor, you know, after drinking some of the proper 12, he may be the better man.
Yeah, I think that it makes sense. But people are also floating out this idea now that Khabib or Habib, excuse me, is retired. Right, and he's not going to fight anymore, at least as it stands right now. There's also conversations about that 155 title, there being an interim title match with Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, that making that January fight an interim title match. What do you think of that?
Bro, I like that too. You know, I really do. Just because it's one of those fights there again. Is Dustin Poirier the meanest dog in the, you know, on the lot? You know, maybe not. But he's bad, you know what I mean? He will bite you, you know, he ain't gonna just be barking or anything like that. And Conor McGregor, there again, he's a guy that's, no matter who Conor McGregor fights, I don't care if it's, you know, Rafael dos Anjos, I don't care if it's Poirier, I don't care who it is, Conor McGregor is gonna have to come in shape. He's gonna have to be ready to fight. Because everybody has Conor McGregor on their hit list. Everybody want to knock him off. Everybody want to embarrass Conor McGregor. So my advice to Conor McGregor is, man, you know, make sure you have both barrels fully loaded when you step back inside the octagon, because somebody is looking to make a name, you know, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but it seemed that way to me, because everybody seems to want a piece of Conor McGregor right now.
Yeah, I think that making it though for that interim title fight, Conor, most recent, you know, I guess champion, if you don't count Justin Gaethje being an interim champion. So Conor's most recent lineal belt holder, if you will, makes sense, you know, with him being back in there. And you know, here's the thing, if he goes out and beats Dustin Poirier, that's great for the UFC, right? The UFC is like, hey, Conor McGregor's a champion again. Who's next? You know, who's next for the champ? Blah, 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 blah. He starts talking again. Oh, is 2021 going to be the year of Conor? There's just a lot of great stuff that could happen because of it. Right?
You know what, man? You know, the more the merrier, bro. The more the merrier. You know, I say spread a little bit here, spread a little bit there, you know, sprinkle a little bit here, and let's make it happen. Because more than anything, time is ticking, man. Time is ticking. These guys, you know, careers, you know, seem to be they're like the Flash. You know, they seem to come through so quick. It seemed like Conor McGregor, you know, was just making noise a minute ago. And Conor McGregor he's closer to the end, you know, so much more so than he is to the beginning of his career. Conor McGregor, how many fights you think he got left on the career? Maybe 3?
Yeah, 3, 4, depending on if he wins or loses, right?
Exactly. And everything depends on that for Conor McGregor, if he win or lose, because there again, he's going to be fighting, you know, perhaps not the champion. You know, he may not be fighting the, you know, supposed to be the toughest dog on the lot, you know, and if you lose to one of those guys, it's definitely going to, you know, bring him down to earth and say, man, let me go spend some of this Floyd money.
I'm sure. And by the way, Floyd, I think, is going to be fighting here next month. Was that what I saw? He's going to have an exhibition over in Japan next month. Floyd Mayweather
Against Natsukawa again.
I don't think it's a Natsukawa. I think there's a new challenger. A new challenger approaches for Floyd, so he's going to go pick up that 10, 12 million, whatever they're going to pay him to go do that little exhibition. But you know what? That's what Conor should do. If Conor loses to Poirier, exhibitions all over the world, right?
Hey, man.
He should do exhibitions all over the world.
Nah, that ain't going to work out, man.
Why?
You know what?
Floyd could do it.
Yeah, Floyd can. You know what I mean? But Floyd has been the greatest boxer, as well as, one of the greatest promoter, one of the greatest self-promoters that the business has ever seen. People can say whatever they want to say about Floyd Mayweather, but he's a guy that has parlayed how good he is to where he is right now with some good people around him more than anything. And that's the thing, man. You got to have good people around you. Just like me, at Reality of Wrestling, I got good people around. We're a local-based business. And, speaking of local, as a local-based business, Scout Media believes in the concept of supporting local businesses, jobs in our community. So we're asking you guys, our listeners, to hashtag keep it local when you're shopping, eating, taking out, or just buying services. Consider a local business and share your great experience with the hashtag keep it local. When you listen for our supporters and our sponsors that support ESPN 97.5 as well as 92.5, then hashtag keep it local. And if you want more, if you want to learn more, go to ESPN97.5.com/keep it local. Guys, I say do it now. You'll be doing a great service for yourself, because that's what we do here in our city is we represent. We represent on the job and off the job. I always tell my guys at Reality of Wrestling, I tell them, you got to know how to be champion in the ring as well as out of the ring, and you got to do it all the time. And that comes all the way to this concept as far as keeping it local. We got to rep our city, guys. And if we don't do it, ain't nobody else going to do it for us. Guys, stick around. You in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. Like I say, the fight game, it ain't easy. I remember Rocky Johnson was telling superstar Billy Graham back in the day, look, the game ain't hard and you ain't barred. I always wanted to use that line. I just had to throw it out there. But
it's a good one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The game ain't hard. And I was like, hard? What does that mean? Until I went to jail, I didn't understand what he was talking about. Barred, okay. Hey, man, Judge Jones is in the news again by way of Daniel Cormier making the comments that, he should not be considered to be the greatest of all times because of a failed drug test. And I think that's a conversation that could be had. I think that's something that definitely could be debated. So let's debate it. Let's debate that here for a second. Should John Jones, be considered, or should we look at John Jones, as the greatest light heavyweight to ever grace the inside of the octagon? I think his stats speak for themselves as far as what he went out there and did inside, that square circle as far as the opponents that you put in front of them. I think, the drug test as far as John Jones go, I think the one drug test that supposedly he had, I think the UFC covered that drug test up, right?
Are we talking about the picogram one?
Well, yeah. Well, they pretty much went to another, went from Vegas,
State.
went to California. Yeah. Am I right? Didn't the UFC cover that up?
Essentially, well, yeah. I mean, they looked out for him. They didn't ban him.
And they pretty much threw it out, though, right? Didn't they throw that thing out?
Yeah. They said that it was a pulsing effect from a prior drug offense.
Exactly.
Therefore, it was too small to have anything.
We can't count that drug test right there. Now, now the other drug test was I think cocaine, right?
One was cocaine. Yes.
And was there another one that I'm missing?
There was one. The one right before the picogram one was for a banned substance that John Jones appealed. I think he got a 2-year suspension. He appealed it, and he's claimed that he had gotten this testosterone benefit or what have you from a male enhancement pill that he had purchased at a local gas station or convenience store.
That might be possible, man, because I buy a couple. I buy them every now and then, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, they will blow you through the roof. You know what I mean? The wives just be good. Don't get that anymore. So I understand exactly what he's talking about as far as that go. But so it might boost you. You get a big boost. And so I don't know. That might be true as far as that go. But the cocaine.
They always have the funny names too. You'll see them up on this thing, and it's like Midnight Rhino or something like that.
The horn about this big. This is great. Look, man. No.
Midnight Rhino is not a sponsor.
But
Hall of Fame.
But John Jones and the cocaine. Let's throw the cocaine out. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to look at that as a reason not to, say he's, one of the greatest. So I got to throw that out. And the reason I say that is because I can almost guarantee you, if you ask Ray Lewis, who was the greatest end that ever played the game, he's gonna say Lawrence Taylor, and he's gonna say it with a big smile on his face, because Lawrence Taylor was the man, and Lawrence Taylor he did more cocaine than anybody, but if you talking about the great of all time that played that position, you're gonna say LT. Boy, it was bad. Right. You know what I mean? And the same thing. That's why I say you throw the cocaine out. So I'm not gonna put Midnight Spinner. I like that one too. Midnight Spinner-Rooney. We might have to market that. Get me some of them little pills to put in the stores. But no, man. I'm not gonna throw him out just for the one test, for whatever it was. And as far as John Jones being the greatest light heavyweight that ever, graced the octagon, if I had a vote, I would say yeah.
I mean, look, do I love John Jones as a fighter? Do I think that he's one of the greatest to ever do it? Absolutely. But there without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, there's going to be a asterisk by him, whether you believe that's fairly or unfairly. It's the same when you think about somebody as prolific a home run hitter as Barry Bonds was. Prior to any allegations of steroidal use, Barry Bonds was cranking them out of the park. And then all of a sudden he said, oh, wait, what did Mark McGwire do? What's Sammy up to? That sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. And then Barry Bonds' head got about 7 times the size of its original size, and he started cranking all the home runs out. Barry Bonds holds the home run record, but does anybody look at him as the home run king? No, they think about Hank Aaron, they think about Babe Ruth, they think about the guys who did it the right way. And I think that that's just the only thing that's always going to mar the career of John Jones, which has been a flawless career, no real defeats. He has one DQ or whatever it is, no real defeats, but the stories of him, and he's admitted to this, hiding from USADA in the gym,
Look,
hiding
bro,
under the
look,
octagon so he
bro,
won't get tested.
look, if you've been smoking a little herb, you could tell John Jones is a guy that liked to party. All right, you can tell that.
Yes.
Yeah, he haven't,
He likes an ale.
exactly. You know what I mean? And the thing is, a guy like that, you know, of course he's going to find himself in positions, where tests can make him look bad or whatnot, and he doesn't want to do it. But as far as John Jones being a guy that's being labeled a steroid user, I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm not going to sit here, John Jones, because the thing is, John Jones was taking drug tests well before he got popped. So as you get older, there again, John Jones came into the UFC, very young man, a prodigy. That went out there and shook up the world, took the UFC by storm. And next thing you know, this guy was Hollywood. He was the next big thing. He was the guy that was drawing the numbers for the UFC. And when you're a young man, Brad, you haven't tasted that kind of success yet. And hopefully when you finally do, you had your head on your shoulders properly. As far as, man, I need to, stay focused. John Jones is the guy that got everything, and he lost his focus for a minute because, man, temptation is the hardest thing to deal with when you get to look at Tiger Woods. Look at Tiger Woods. Eldridge Woods, man, had everything that he could ever want. He had the golf world by the knees. He had the beautiful wife. He had the kids, he had the prestige, but he still wanted that party and that hooker down there in Vegas. You know what I mean? So it's hard, man, sometimes to fight off those demons. And right now, that's why I see John Jones just being a young guy saying, man, I'm spending some of this money.
No, I get that.
I'm going to go make it rain at Magic City. You know what I mean? So I understand that kind of stuff. I've been there.
You've been making it rain in Magic City
with
the Midnight Rhino?
$1 bills. It's about $10 bills.
Ones. All right, I'm done for the night.
And throw them up high. Be gone before they come down.
I mean, I get what you're saying from that aspect with John Jones. However, and I'm a John fan. I like John Jones, and I think that he's had some transgressions outside the octagon, but what he's done inside the octagon has been extraordinary, as you would say. But when you look at this last pop back in, let me pull this up real quick right here. So back when he tested positive at UFC 232. This was he tested positive for Turnabol, which is an anabolic steroid. His A sample and B sample both came back. When you have that on your record, it doesn't matter if it came from a male enhancement pill or not. People are always going to look at you differently. They always will. There's nothing that John Jones can do to overturn that, in my opinion. Maybe we as fans will see it, but people who are purists of the sports, a lot of people will have, and I've heard these conversations.
This is the question right here. This is the question right here. For, and like I said, I've been trying my best to get DC on the show. This is my question for DC. Did he fail the drug test when he fought him twice? Answer the question. That's the question that needs to be asked, right?
Well, the second one, yeah. Second one, he came back and failed after the fight.
The second one?
The second fight.
Are you sure about that?
I'm 90% certain, because remember they took the title away from John and gave it back to DC.
Yeah, that's right. And that's probably why he beefing about it. That's probably why he, beefing about it. So, but myself, man, I don't know. I'm not going to.
Look, he's always going to be in the conversation.
I'm not going to put him on that list, man, as far as being a steroid user, because I've watched John Jones' career come along, and you could tell a guy, when a guy is on something. It's just like, I'm not throwing TJ Dillashaw under the bus or anything like that. But when TJ Dillashaw came into his last fight, and I was like, man, this guy doesn't look normal. I've seen a lot of guys out there, and immediately I could tell, if someone's, been taking an enhancement or something like that. It's just obvious. The body is, is different. You know what I mean? And people probably looking at the camera right now and they say, well, look, you look jacked. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? But you know, I'm in the gym. I'm training. But no, man. Hey guys, we got a whole lot more to talk about. We got WWE to talk about because big pay-per-view going down this weekend. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
We back.
There we go.
I told you. I'm trademark. Hey man, I need to put that on the trademark before somebody steal it. Hey man, but we're back inside the Hall of Fame right now. And the thing is, WWE news as far as they're again going down this weekend. Survivor Series, one of my favorite pay-per-views, one of the big four of the year. They're again in Florida at the Thunderdome. Looking forward to getting down there and taking care of some business. Got some more stuff I'm going to be doing on Friday, actually on Thursday this week. Top secret. I don't want to let y'all know just yet. I'll let y'all know next week what it was, and I'm sure y'all gonna go, man, Book, you coming up, dog? You coming up? You know, so definitely it's going to be a big weekend for me. I'm looking forward to it. Got to get out here again on Thursday, and I won't be back inside the H until a couple of days later. I won't let nobody know, just in case they, stalkers. A lot of stalkers around there, but we got surveillance and all that stuff flying over, all kind of stuff around here. So don't try nothing. Don't try nothing. But there again, in the business, man, it's been kind of crazy as far as the wrestling world. And man, from one day to the next, you don't know what's going to happen. Selena Vega, she definitely was one of, as far as, and if we would have had, Fave 5 for the ladies, she would have been in there. I thought she was coming up, and then one day she's here, boom, next day she's gone. Of course, watching her on the Twitch channel, talk about it, it broke my heart, watching her cry and stuff and whatnot. But one thing about it, man, we move on. We find, a soft landing, and we keep doing our thing. But I just want to say, I'm sad to see her go, because I thought she was talent. I thought she was someone that could have really, made a huge difference as far as, the guard, you know what I mean? And we're always looking for stars, just like any other business, like the entertainment, always looking for stars. And we were talking about this not too long ago, as far as when the Twitch thing first came around. And I think somebody asked me a question about it, and I say, man, the young guys, they're going to have to figure out how to make this thing work more than anything. Because, and I say this because, what will you do? I mean, that's the question. I'm posing the question to myself. Well, I'm not of this era. You know what I mean? I'm from the era before, and things were different for me. I'm not talent on the roster anymore. And I'm sure if I was, I would be, I'm sure. And the thing is, I'm sure if I was, I'd be in the same predicament that each and every one of the stars are right now. I really would be. So I'm just saying, guys, figure it out, because at the end of the day, it's a bigger picture. At the end of the day, you hope that pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow, or you got someone like Selena who say, man, I create that pot of gold for myself. So I can appreciate that as well. But I just wanted to say, above all, man, I'm gonna miss her, because I thought she was talented.
Yeah, and you and I have talked on and off air about how great of a talent we thought she was inside and outside the ring. She's one of those few people who come around who's got look, charisma, can talk, and can work. I mean, it's everything that you look for in a performer. And I thought that the sky, sky wasn't even a limit. The outer space was a limit for Selena Vega, and if she ends up back with WWE someday, if she moves on to AEW or Impact or wherever she is inside the wrestling world, she's going to be a benefit to that company. That's how high I am on her and how I see her. And it was rough to watch that Twitch stream. It really was. It was rough to watch somebody going through those emotions. But like you said, she'll move on. She'll find the next path in life. I hope that it's back maybe one day with the WWE or another wrestling company so we can continue to see her grow as a star. But I have no doubt whatever it is that she does, she'll be successful. I know that this Twitch thing has been a big issue and cameos and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, that's something, like you said, it's going to have to be worked out one way or another. There's got to be a compromise, right?
Yeah.
That's what this nation is built on.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? Paige Van Zandt.
With the Instagram thing?
Well, Paige Van Zandt, as far as, how much money she's making with the Instagram photos, and then she got to dispute with the UFC as far as, it just seemed like it wasn't, right for her, as far as how she was being marketed and, what she was getting paid and whatnot. And she felt like she could do, and I really feel like these days, man, the young guys, they have such a different platform than I had when I was coming up with the social media thing. It's not even funny. I'm looking at a fight getting ready to go down here in a couple of months. The YouTuber, what's his name?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. He getting ready to fight again, and
I think he's on the undercard for Tyson, isn't he?
He's on the undercard for Tyson. Yeah, at the end of the month. That's what it is. And when you see a guy like Logan Paul, who's a YouTuber, who done parlayed his success to fighting, and what's crazy is his followers, man, they come to see it. I was in LA when the fight, when he fought there. And the Staples Center it wasn't sold out, man, but it had a whole lot of people there. And I was like, man, this is crazy. To see now, the gamers that have just created, a total different world now to where they can sit at home. I'm playing this new video game now called The Witcher, and I'm like, man, how can I need to figure this game out. There's no instructions or anything. So I pull up on YouTube, and this guy give me a whole tutorial of the whole story. You know what I mean? And he was talking about, I'm not going to talk to you, and give you to you in detail today, because, I got this and that, whatnot going on. And he had, I don't know how many millions of followers. And I was like, this is nuts. I need to figure this out.
A whole different world.
It's a totally different world. You know what I mean? So big ups to the young guys that's figuring it out there. And, hopefully there again, she'll land on her feet.
Yeah, no, I agree. And nowadays, again, you have all those different revenue streams. It's like when the record companies started to realize, hey, you know what? We're not making as much money on the actual music sales anymore, but we're making these artists so big. How do we get our piece of the pie? And then they start doing the 360 deal. Oh, we'll get a little of the tour, we'll get a little of the merch or what have you. It's an evolution in business. These are going to be one of those crossroads where it's going to have to be figured out, and there's going to have to be a compromise between all parties. You got to figure out what's going to work for everybody. And I think that's what you were saying. Yeah.
Got a couple of super chats, man.
Super chats. Booker, we talked about this a little bit last week, but B-Star wants to know who's your pick between Tyson and Jones Jr.
Man, it's gonna be a rough night. It's gonna be a rough night for Roy Jones Jr. if he can pull it off. And the thing is, he's done it before. Roy Jones, former heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not gonna say he can't do it, but it's gonna be a tall task. I think Mike Tyson's gonna hit him with that left hook. I've been watching Mike work on in his training session. It's at 50 years old, it still look deadly. You know what I mean?
If my right one don't hit you, then my left one will.
He look like he can still knock me out. So I ain't gonna sit here and talk down on him. But yeah, man, Mike Tyson's my guy. We got one more, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have one more. This is from Wally Wall saying, with you being in WCW and WWE, what is the average salary for a WWE wrestler right now? I don't know if you would know.
What about TNA?
Yeah, what was the average salary for a TNA wrestler. No, I don't know what an average salary would be now. I mean,
You know what?
you don't see.
I can't speak on average because I've never been average. You know, I always was working at the top of the card, baby. You know, so when I came in, you know, my downside was on the upside. You know, when I was in WCW, man, I was making well in the high six figures. And the thing is, the business is bigger now than it was back then. You got to understand, the stars are the guys that, you know, really, you know, make the big bulk of the cash because they are the draw. The stars are, you know, what the business has been built on for years. And you got to figure out how, and I say this all the time, you know, and the young guys always, I get a little heat with them. You got to figure out how to become one of those stars and how you get the bus and all that stuff. You know, how you start getting treated, you know, with the, you know, first class treatment and whatnot. You know, champagne wishes and caviar dreams. You got to figure it out. And most of the time it comes down to talent. And that right there, man, like my mama used to say, you know, money don't grow on trees. Same thing about talent, man. Don't grow on trees, man. You got to be prepared, man. Preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. WCW, the money was good. WWE, the money was good. And I say right now, you know, you hear about guys, you know, certain guys making it, you know, a few $1 million a year. That's true, because it's a total different world now, you know, in football, basketball, baseball, the money always gets bigger. Now, the guys on the lower part of the card, I don't know what them guys making. And to be honest, it might be rough down there. I just don't know. But I just never been a superstars type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Hey, man, this one name right here, man. It always gets me, man. Nokadota Patterson.
Yes.
Nokadota. Where you from, man? You from the bush?
No, he's a reality wrestling faithful, always out at the shows. What up, Mr. Patterson?
Hey, man, he was talking about the Witcher series on Netflix.
Yes.
And I saw that, man, and I'm actually going to be on the road this week, and I'm definitely going to start watching it just because, like I said, I got the video game for my Nintendo Switch. And one thing about the Switch, man, it's cool, man, because you can hook it up to your television as well, and it's just like PlayStation, whatnot. So definitely I'm going to check out The Witcher on Netflix. Appreciate the hookup there.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, because you're talking about Survivor Series, and real quick, because you brought it up, you said it's one of your favorite events, I wanted to get a little throwback action for you. 19 years ago, I believe you competed in your very first Survivor Series match, and it was a legendary one. And when you look at this lineup of the people you were in there with, I don't know if there's ever been, you know, maybe some of the early shows, there was a lot of names on it, but find me a Survivor Series match in the last 10, 15 years that was as stacked as this one right here, right? This was the winner-take-all Survivor Series match. You had Kane, The Undertaker, Big Show, Chris Jericho, and the WCW champion, The Rock, versus the WWF champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shane McMahon, Rob Van Dam, Kurt Angle, and Booker T. That is a match, man. Look how
Yeah.
many legends are on there.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
Hall of Famers? I guess
Definitely,
only two currently, three currently.
I tell you, man, it was a great run back then as far as being in the locker room and the talent that was on the roster. It was a smorgasbord of talent, man, that we had to compete with on a weekly basis. But the thing is, honestly, when I got to WWE, when I was in WCW, it was more of a competition. I felt like than when I got to WWE.
Really?
I don't know why. The competition went out of the window for me when I got to WWE because I started working on a lot of different things than what I worked on in WCW. In WCW, I worked on being a wrestler. I worked on being the best wrestler in the locker room, the best wrestler in the territory. You put me in the ring, one-on-one, toe-to-toe. It was like a heavyweight boxing match, and I wanted to go out and show the world how good of a wrestler I was. But when I got to WWE, I would say they kind of transformed me into becoming an entertainer. They worked on me being an entertainer. I didn't want to lose what I had as far as, my toolbox, as far as what I tell my students. I always tell my students, if you ever get, a job, in the WWE, you get picked up in the performance center or whatnot. I say, make sure, you know where your tool bag is. I say, because they're going to teach you a ton of stuff that's going to be totally different than what we've talked about. I say, but you got to, make sure you have your toolkit, you know what I mean? And so for me, same thing, man. With those guys, working with the best talent in the world, Chris Jericho, The Rock, Big Show, Taker, Kane, RVD, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I put Shane McMahon in there too as being, a guy who has put in work. It was a lot of talent, but it seemed like we were all just performing. It seemed like we were going out and, doing the show. And it always have been about in the WWE, WWF, even back in the day. The guy who was the champ, we rode with him. You know what I mean? We was going to, have his back. We was going to make sure we did everything for the guy who had the championship, because thanks for the house, brother. The royalty check is in the mail. It's one of those type of deals. You know what I mean? And then, you put in enough work, your body of work get recognized, and then boom, you get the spot. And then you hope everybody. It's like being the president. Once the guy become president, no matter who it is, you say, man, I'm gonna get behind this guy, and I'm gonna give him a chance. If he screw it up, that's it. We got something to talk about, and it's no different, with being a part of this kind of situation right here. You put in the work, you get the nod, you work to make everybody around you better, and when it's time to pass it on, boom, you do it. You make the transition of power very, very smooth.
Do you remember?
Oh man, you saw I slipped that in there, man.
I like it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're very clever, Booker T.
Appreciate it, brother.
You're very clever. Do you remember though anything about the match in general? Because I've always wanted to know how you supposed to put together a 5-on-5 Survivor Series match with these many top guys in it.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man.
Like, was it short straws of who got eliminated first? I have a feeling that might be an issue for some guys.
I don't remember any of this match.
You don't remember any of it?
No. I don't.
Wow.
I don't remember. I have to go back and watch it and see exactly what happened. Then the memories will come, flowing back. But I've never been a guy that worked on, trying to think about what happened in the matches or who I worked with in the past or anything like that. I know, you could ask me, hey, if you ever worked with such and such, and I'll tell you, yeah, I know. And sometimes I might tell you no and don't even remember I did, just because the memory was for the fan. It was never for me. It was never for, me to think about. I always thought, one day I can go back and watch it, and, and it'll be cool and I'll remember it, but I just never been one of those guys to, you know, reminisce the past and what I did with in certain matches. I just don't. Certain matches I do though, but those matches, all of those matches, they had I was connected to them in some way. I had a certain feeling about them when I did them, and I can tell you what happened in those type of matches, literally step by step, everything that happened, because like I say, I had a connection and a feeling towards it. But most of my matches throughout my career have just been matches, not anything for me to think about or remember, other than just make sure I don't forget the spots.
Out of all these guys on here, you've wrestled them at least a few dozen times, I'm sure, or at least a half dozen or more. Which one of the guys that you're seeing on the screen right now do you feel like you had the best in-ring chemistry with? Not that you're putting anybody down, but who just out of all of them, they're all legends. But which one do you think you worked with the best?
I mean, without a doubt, it's Chris Jericho. Without a doubt, because we came from WCW together. We had so many matches in WCW that wasn't televised, that was in house shows, that we were just having fun. And I realized how good Chris Jericho was. Back then, I was like, man, this guy's a star. And he wasn't that big of a guy, but he was such a huge personality. And that made him bigger than life. And for me to get a chance to work with him, back then, he was very, very well seasoned. Even then, of course, he got polished along the way, just because you just keep learning the craft, if that's what you're into, and obviously that's what he's into. For me, it was a pleasure, man, going out here and work. And like I say, a lot of television stuff we didn't do, but house shows, man. It was a pleasure to work with him. Then again, Kurt Angle, man, we did some really, really good stuff as well. RVD and we had great, chemistry together. And, even as tag team, we had good chemistry. But, man, working against RVD, man, boy, you had to always watch out for that kick to the face, because he was going to throw it, man, especially the one in the turnbuckle where you go to give him a head, take his head into the turnbuckle, and then he blocks it, then he just throw a kick up and bang right in your face. And if you wasn't ready for it, man, it would hit you so hard. And I love working with Rob, man, but man, that freaking 5-star flat match was so stiff, man. It was like the stiffest thing I ever had to be a part of, man. But no, man, Kane, Taker, of course, Big Show. I've worked with all those guys, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Shane McMahon, of course, my right-hand man when I first came into WWE, guy that took me under his wing, really looked after me. I got a couple of bookends that he gave me downstairs, that where I gave The Rock the bookend through one of the tables, and he made a couple of bookends from that table for me. It's just really,
you got to post a picture of that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I've been around the world, man. Did it all with all these suckers, man. I'm talking about from Houston, Texas, all the way to Tokyo, Japan, Narita Airport, baby. That's the good stuff, man. That's the good stuff.
Real quick before we take a break, I just want to tell everybody about the Occasional Invitational going on December the 3rd. Take the day off of work and play a fun round of golf with your favorite sports station at the ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 Occasional Invitational, presented by SiteJab.com, benefiting Provision. This year's tournament will take place Thursday, December 3rd at 11:30 a.m. at the Wildcat Golf Club. Each golfer will receive beverages from our local beer provider, St. Arnold's Brewery. Lunch, dinner, 18 holes of golf. You can register right now at ESPN975.com.
Do it. Do it now. I do it for you. Stick around, guys. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I just want to let you guys know, man, y'all keeping me laughing here, man, in the chat, man.
What are they saying over there in the chat?
We got John Cromer. He said, I won the Hall of Fame. This election was rigged. Trump knows it. LOL. I appreciate you guys, man. Oh, man, it's just stupid, man. It's just stupid. Hey, man, there again, man. It's going down this weekend. Survivor Series. Just looking at that poster you just put up there. Definitely bring back some memories, man, as far as what it was like to be in the game back then. And that's been a big question. A lot of people always talking to me about today too, man, is, what was it like back then, if you could compare it to, what it's like today. And I tell you, man, I can't tell you what it's like to be on the road or anything like that for these young guys. Other than I know it's a grind. I know it's still just as hard. I know the workload has gone up a little bit since I did it, just because of the TV, the pay-per-views, the WWE Network specials, whatnot. The workload, man, like I say, the overseas tours have picked up like crazy before COVID, of course. It's definitely the same in that sense. But I tell you, man, when we were running in WCW back in the day, it was like literally like the Rolling Stones was on tour, bro. It was so electric coming into certain countries, and literally we made a stop at just about every one of them, and we would get off the plane and it would be so many people, just waiting for us at the airport, get to the hotel, the hotel would be booked solid. People literally sleeping in the, the bar area, in the lobby area. It's that full, security around the clock, as far as having to, take us in and out and whatnot. It was a real rock star life. The people that was, at the show that final night, just say for instance, we're in somewhere in Germany and we're doing a tour there and we got to go to the next city, somewhere in Germany, and it's a nice bus ride, and they would be there before us. The fans, they would be there. It's a lot of the same word. They would be there waiting when we got there, so it was unbelievable. I don't know what it's like now. I'm sure it has some feel of that. But the arenas, every arena, every week, this WCW was sold out to the rafters. As far as television go, 20,000, 30,000 people. It's like pay-per-view every week. The fan participation, and then again, the talent pool that was on the roster that you had to compete with. It was vast, and it was fun. It was so much fun. That if I miss anything, it's the adrenaline that I got out of being a part of that. And now, it's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot different there again because of social media, the internet. But I'm sure these guys still living out their dreams. But it seems to be a whole lot. Seems to be a little bit different than it was back then, as far as how happy people are, or how happy people were back then. I don't know, because back then, man, it was a party, but it was fun at the same time.
Let me ask you this though. Sometimes the party, it might come to a halt sooner than you expected. And talking about competing in your first Survivor Series, the rumor plan was it last Friday's SmackDown? We got the debut of Chelsea Green, who is somebody who you worked with on Tough Enough, I believe. Chelsea Green was on. And she makes her debut on SmackDown, and then she gets a severe injury during her first match on television. I believe was it her wrist that she broke? Yeah, she broke her left wrist, and she had to go to immediate surgery right thereafter. Literally gone from the Thunderdome to the medical facility to get the surgery done. I mean, that's a bad break, Booker T.
You know what? It really is. And the thing is, I was just talking to Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. Um, man, 3 weeks ago, and I was talking to her about a match I was showing on film study on my classes on Thursday night, guys. Wrestling 101 with Booker T every Thursday, 7 o'clock. If you want to join in, join in. Go to realitywrestling.com. Do it now. I do it for you. I just had to get that plug in there real quick. But Chelsea Green, I was showing a match with her against Charlotte Flair. It was a match that she had in NXT, and I was talking about how green Chelsea was and how experienced Charlotte was, and the difference between the two of them and how they were working in that, in that same match with each other, how you could, pick the and see and notice the difference between the two. And none of it was the big things that they did. All of it was very, very small, little bitty things. And that's what Chelsea needs to work on. And the thing is, it's not going to be anything big. It's always going to be something small. I didn't see what she did to, actually, get injured. But what I noticed about Chelsea was how she would move and not really pay attention to where she was going before she, started her trip. It seemed like she would, just get on the road and start going, and then she'll pull out the GPS and figure out, on the road, where I'm at. You can't do that in this business. You got to really be able to, I always say, navigate your way through a match. And by say navigating, you got to know where you're going to go before you get there.
Right.
Before you even think about going, it's already got to be mapped out for you. You can't think in there. The thought got to already be formulated for you, just on, autopilot alone. And that's what I saw when I saw Chelsea. So hopefully she'll get back soon. It's not a career-ending injury or anything like that, but it is a bummer. It definitely is a bummer. Your debut under the bright lights, WWE SmackDown, and then go out there, bam, something happens and it's all over. And the thing is, I've been in that position before, to where, I'm in a big angle, next thing you know, on a house show, not even on television, take a hip toss, pull my groin so bad to where, I can't do anything but laugh about it and go to the hospital. It's one of those type of deals. It's just part of the game. It's not a matter of, how there again. It's a matter of when an injury is going to happen. And it just sucks that it happened on perhaps the biggest night of her in-ring career.
Yeah, but you know what? I agree with you 100%. It sucks that it happened on that night, but I really love her attitude about it. Nevertheless, she said on Twitter, just like the rest of my career, I couldn't have an easy debut. That wouldn't be a fit for my wild journey. I'm heading into surgery now. I'm beyond devastated, but excited to be a part of the WWE Team SmackDown when I get back. So she posted photos right after surgery saying, she's already on the way to recovery. So, it sucks, but it's going to make the book all that much more interesting. When she writes one, and then on my debut, I broke my wrist. You know what I mean? So there's always the light at the end of the tunnel there.
Hey, man, it happens, man. My debut at the Global Wrestling Federation, I blew my knee out, and I didn't tell anybody about it, but the doctor told me I needed to have reconstructive knee surgery, and I was like, got to be kidding me. I did a freaking knee drop off the top rope, and it blew. I don't know what was I thinking. What was I thinking? And but look good though. Look good.
Right.
And I definitely was like, man, it could be over with if I had surgery. Thank God, Chelsea Green is, doing this in 2020 where you could have something like that happen and you could be right back in action, relatively quick. We look at, Xavier Woods, we look at Ember Moon, who had devastating injuries, and you heard me say it on the kickoff show, they're finished, they're done. You know what I mean? Wrap them up, but Ember Moon looked like she went and got in better shape than before. It seemed like she's one thing it seems that she is on in the second time around, and I just been watching her. It seems like she's a whole lot smarter now. It seems like all of that stuff that I used to tell her at the school, she's remembering it now. It's like when I was a kid and my mother used to tell me, you know right from wrong. It's no gray area. I remember that stuff late in my life. After I got in trouble. And made big mistakes. Ember Moon. There again. Thought about perhaps maybe I made a couple of mistakes along the way, and I need to fix that this second run and be a little bit smarter and go out here and be able to raise the bar a little bit higher, because that submission that she has now, it looks deadly, it looks mean, it looks real mean, and I tell you, man, it could take us straight to the bank, baby. I'm talking about long green ducats, champagne wishes, and caviar dreams right here inside the Hall of Fame. She's gonna be there one day, y'all. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I know we got to talk about this big surprise that came up, but I was just looking at in the comment section there that had Harlem Heat and it had the Road Warriors, legendary team, of course. And I remember someone was asking me, "Hey man, did you and your brother ever wrestle the Road Warriors?" And I was like, "Nah, we never wrestled the Road Warriors, man." I remember me and Sting, we wrestled the Road Warriors, and then somebody reminded me, yeah, you guys did wrestle the Road Warriors.
That's happened to you actually once or twice.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And I saw the match and I was like, oh, that's why I don't remember it. It sucked.
You blocked it out. You didn't want to remember it.
That's what it was. I'm serious.
That happened, I think, one time before too, where you were like, "I never wrestled Mr. Perfect. I never wrestled."
Yeah,
and then someone tweets us the match. You did on Thunder, like 2000. We're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's right."
We didn't have that great of a match either. You know what I mean? It wasn't the greatest match in the world. Yeah. And I don't remember my bad matches. Only my good ones.
You don't remember the bad matches, right? I don't remember the bad ones. Yeah, you talked about it last week. There was the tweet that went out by Tony Khan, the president, the owner of All Elite Wrestling, and he said that the balance of power was going to shift on that episode of AEW Dynamite. And I don't know if the balance of power shifted, but there was a big surprise. There was a big surprise that was revealed. You and I speculated on it, and I will give you credit here, Booker T. You were not far off. I mean, you weren't right on, but you were not far off.
Yeah.
From what was expected. We were talking about maybe it's going to be some sort of celebrity. You said, well, Mike Tyson's been in there before. We're right around the corner from his fight. Maybe that would make sense. Now, a giant in sports was announced as a potential opponent for a man named Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And he goes by the name of Shaquille the Diesel O'Neal. Shaq and Cody seems to be in the works over there at All Elite Championship Wrestling. What do you think about this?
I don't know if it's going to be a fight or a free throw contest.
Well, you know what? Shaq actually still might win that one. You know what I mean? I don't know how Cody's game is.
I'm just saying, Cody's an athlete. Cody's he's an athlete. I'm sure he could actually go out and hoop a little bit. But the news definitely shook up everything a little bit. The delivery was a little shaky.
What do you mean?
Well, as far as the new girl coming out and talking about it, and then Cody Rhodes' wife coming out and her getting into it, and then the girl walked off and then said, "What the guest is gonna be Shaq." It lost a lot of pop when Brandy came out and ruined the surprise. It's almost like a jealous wife.
Right.
Just can't. I was looking at congratulations to Dustin Johnson. Went out there and won the Masters. 20 under par, baby. 20 under.
Ridiculous.
He just went out there and ripped Augusta up. There was nothing but grass all over the place after Dustin Johnson left on Sunday. But there again, man, his wife just had to get in on the photo at the end. You know what I mean? She
can get in on the picture.
Had to, be, spotlighting herself. The brother getting ready to go turn his card in. She tried to follow him in the turn. The security had to tell her, "Excuse me, ma'am." It's that kind of stuff. What I mean?
Happy wife, happy life, Booker T.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, man. And that's what I saw in that little clip right there, trying to keep the wife happy. Sometimes the wife just needs to sit back and shoot. This is an angle, all right? We trying to do some business here. And it just seemed like that one little part, it kind of messed it up for me. It kind of threw everything off. I could be wrong, but if I was booking it, that part wouldn't have been a part of the message of Cody Rhodes got a big opponent, and that big opponent is Shaquille O'Neal. It just drowned everything out for me.
Okay, but be that as it may, for you, what do you think of the matchup? Do you think this is a big matchup for AEW to pull off? Because Shaq, it was rumored that he and Big Show were going to have that WrestleMania match. It never came to fruition. But I do remember him entering the Battle Royal, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at the AT&T Stadium there in Arlington, Texas, WrestleMania 32. 100,000 people, baby, right? Shaq and Big Show went nose-to-nose there in the Battle Royal. He's always been a wrestling fan. He's been around for a long time. Friend and fan of the show, I guess. What do you think about him in Cody Rhodes locking horns? The match itself.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not the ideal match that I would see Shaquille O'Neal having against Cody Rhodes. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to picture, what would that look like? Shaquille O'Neal is, not an experienced wrestler or anything like that.
Right.
If you're going to do something with him, you definitely want to, tape it early and, try to make sure you do it as right as you possibly could. There again, if you do it, you want to do as less as possible. If you're going to do something like that, what's the payoff at the end of the day is, because we're bringing Shaq in to do whatever, and whatever it is, man, we got to get our money's worth out of it. So I'm thinking from that perspective, the question is Shaq going to bring eyes to AEW? Is Shaq going to bring eyes to AEW having a match against Cody Rhodes, or even advertising that they're going to be having a match? Yeah, of course. It's great for those guys to have someone like Shaquille O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal is just cool, man. Everybody love him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any heat with anybody. And the thing is, he's good at what he does. He's basketball analyst. He could drop a beat on you real quick, and you go, man, this guy's, he got flavor. And the thing is, he's unassuming. In certain aspects. We honestly don't know what Shaq could do.
True.
So I say, man, let's see how this thing play out. And it might be, the greatest thing that we ever seen, in the business. You never know. We'll see.
Shaq was around in the WCW times, wasn't he? Didn't he do something? He didn't wrestle, but wasn't he around?
Yeah, he was around, but he never did anything. He never did anything as far as actual. I think he might have gotten the ring and slammed somebody or something like that.
Okay.
I can't remember, right offhand, because, I wasn't fanboying out, when guys like that showed up to the arena. But he's been around. But like I say, that's the thing. We haven't seen Shaq do a whole lot, so we don't know what he could do. So I say give him a shot And he might shock the world. He might shake up the whole business and say, man, Pat McAfee did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's doing well.
Why couldn't Shaq do it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing well. By the way, speaking of basketball, just real quick, I want to shout out Chris Paul. Is making another transition, going over there to the Phoenix Suns. He was traded today, former Rocket.
James Harden might be getting up out of here too, man. Yeah.
It looks like James and Russ are probably both going to be out of the H. Here maybe by the end of the week. Who knows?
Wait a minute. Let's talk about that before, because we got to get up out of here in a minute. Didn't I say that this was going to happen?
What did you say?
As far as this marriage between Westbrook and James Harden,
You said it wouldn't work.
Didn't I say this thing was going to implode? Didn't I say that?
You may have.
Didn't I? But wait a minute. Didn't I say it before it happened? Didn't I say it when people first started talking about it? Did I say that?
Yes. You did.
And the thing is this, when I'm talking about something, and I hear Patrick Creighton, man, God bless the brother, but he really loves the Rockets. You know what I mean?
I do too.
He really loves James Harden and what James Harden brought here to the city. But I'm old school. You got to understand, I'm old school. I come from the days, where we won championships and we had guys here that really contributed to the team and the team success, not their stats. You know what I mean? Because my thing is this: Akeem Olajuwon could have had the greatest stats in the history of the game if he wanted. Just pass it the ball, pass it all. Let me shoot it. One of those type of deals. But he wasn't, and that's why that team was great. And Westbrook, Westbrook is one of those guys. He's cold one day, he's hot one day, he's medium the next. You never know what he's going to be. James Harden, he's a guy who's never been he's never been a leader on that team. He's never been the guy that other guys could go to and talk to and say, hey, man, how can we, figure this out? What do we need to do? James Harden, he wasn't the guy to say, okay, this is what we need to do. And we need to start implementing this plan on a weekly. He wasn't that guy. I don't see James Harden being the first guy to show up and the last guy to leave, other than making sure his step back is right.
You're blaming the dissension between Russell Westbrook, or potential dissension between Russell Westbrook and James Harden, on James Harden solely? Russ doesn't get any blame from you?
No.
He's the one who's been saying, I want out because I want the ball more. I want the ball in my hands.
You know what? Maybe he need the ball in his hand more. Maybe if James Harden wasn't just running down there jacking up threes from half court, and look here, I'm telling you right now, if I was on the team and if James Harden was running, I would be so upset. I would have, it would be a fight. Almost, on a monthly basis. I just run up on him and just do something because I'm like, man, pass the damn ball. But James Harden, he don't get that because he got to get his stats. That's what it's all about with James Harden, and that's why both of them about to get the hell up out of Houston, and we about to get some players down here, and hopefully, we'll spend some money and get us another championship. How long James Harden been in Houston?
Since 2012.
Too damn long. Let's get him up out of here, guys. You've been in the Hall of Fame. We appreciate y'all for sticking out with us. Bradley, thank you for everything you do. And guys, we'll be back here on Wednesday doing the same thing, same place, same time. We appreciate y'all.